Derby County have a range of different transfer activity going on at the moment, with some players potentially heading out the door and another range of players potentially coming in across the course of the next few hours. But shall we get into all of that? Now, yesterday, Derby County were linked with a move for Spanish winger Sergi Canos, who previously played for the likes of Brentford, Norwich and Liverpool, as well as spending time at Valencia and Olympiacos over the course of recent years. We also have the news on an agreed deal for that of Sturm Graz right-back Max Johnston, where Derby County have agreed a fee within the region of €2.5 million, with add-ons taking it up to £4 million. Now, there's also some news coming from Blackburn Rovers in which Derby County are set to complete the signing of £1.2 million Blackburn captain Lewis Travis. That fee could rise up to £3 million. Now, there's also some news on Derby County's goalkeeper in terms of Jacob Widell Zetterstrom, where Brentford are considering a bid for him of around £3.5 million. We're going to get into it all in this video and also talk about the disappointment of seeing Koki Saito turn down a potential move to Derby County. But should we get into it? If you have not done so already, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button and turn on that notification bell. Make sure you check out those links down in the description to see CD keys, NordVPN and kitbag for all of your important goods. It's a way to help out the channel where you get provided with a product. Now, should we get into that transfer update? Now, on the news, which everybody already knows, and some of this news some people will know, but I know not everybody stays across everything and can keep up with every single video that I am posting. So let's get into it all. Now, Koki Saito has essentially turned down a move to Derby County across the course of the last few days. It was reported on the 22nd of August, I believe 3 days ago, that he won't be coming to Derby County despite the reported interest from us and us providing adequate bid and putting personal terms on the table, and it looks as if he's going to be set to go and join up with his former club at QPR now, who obviously have received that money from Eberici Eze moving on to Arsenal. It opened up that door for them to get that deal done on a permanent basis, and obviously with their 7-1 defeat at the weekend, they will certainly be hoping that Koki Saito will be able to help them move in a much better direction. It won't affect them in a defensive standpoint, but will it affect them going forward? We will have to wait and see. Now, obviously, it's disappointing to see Saito go to another club, but obviously Derby County have already moved on to other targets. You look at the likes of Sergi Canos, you look at the likes of Cade Gordon. There's already discussions going on behind the scenes. Now let's talk about some other news that is sort of within the same sort of stratosphere. Obviously, as we knew a few days ago, Derby County agreed a deal with Blackburn Rovers for their captain Lewis Travis. That deal is rumoured to be around £1.2 million, with that deal potentially reaching over £3 million in add-ons based on the likes of appearances, goals, assists and all sorts of things like that. I imagine there's probably a promotion bonus in there, as well as also the opportunity of a sell-on clause should Derby County get a big opportunity behind them. Now, obviously, Lewis Travis is a player Derby County have been chasing across the course of this transfer window. We've sort of been waiting for the move to be sealed, and obviously that's something which we're going to have to wait for across the course of probably the next day or two. I imagine it will be done before the weekend, though, in my opinion. But we are going to have to sort of wait and see on that one. We are obviously still awaiting confirmation of that deal, as well as some potential other deals as well. But it is one which I think will be done before the weekend, before we face up against Ipswich Town. But you can let me know your thoughts on that down in the comments. Now, on to the next one then, is Derby County have agreed a deal for SK Sturm Graz right-back Max Johnston. And obviously, the talks are at a much advanced stage now. It is reported that it is essentially a done deal. We're just obviously awaiting him to have his medical, which in my personal opinion will happen today as you're watching this video. But whether it will be announced today or not, I'm not entirely sure. The deal is rumoured to be worth €2.5 million up front, with add-ons taking it to around €4 million, with certain outlets reporting that this is in relation to a Derby County investment deal which is set to take place over the course of the next few weeks. Now, we don't have any confirmation of that from Derby County side of things or anyone local to Derby County, but we're going to have to wait and see sort of how that progresses over the course of the next few weeks. We know that the money being spent on the likes of Lewis Travis, the money that was offered for Koki Saito as well, was huge amounts of money, and another €4 million bid for Max Johnston. It's obviously a lot of money for Derby County, a club that realistically haven't spent a lot of money in recent years. And obviously I know you're going to look at the likes of Sondre Langas, who we paid £4.5 million for, but I think if you look at sort of the ins and outs, Derby County are probably net green at the moment, and obviously these deals will take us above that and turn us into net red, but I think we're in a very, very good position should these deals get done. Now, one of the most disappointing pieces of news to come out across the course of this weekend comes from Alan Nixon of The Sun, unfortunately, where he's reporting that Brentford are currently considering a bid for Derby County's #1 goalkeeper, Jacob Widell Zetterstrom. Now, obviously, I made a video about this yesterday. You can obviously get yourself involved in that. Go and check that video out as well. I give a full sort of breakdown on my thoughts of the deal. And I just don't think £3.5 million is going to be enough money. Because I think if there's a potential sell-on clause to Djurgården and Derby County have hit certain add-ons, then Derby County aren't really making a great deal of money out of this. And they've then got to replace him for that same fee, which is going to be really, really difficult because he is a very good goalkeeper. I know everyone will have their own opinions on Zetterstrom and things like that, but for me, he's got a lot of quality. Yes, there's always things that he can work on, but ultimately, at 27 years old, as a goalkeeper, he's still massively developing, and he was huge for us last season. I think he's been massive for us so far this season. You obviously look at the save from Scotty Twine's free kick late on last night, which gave Derby County the draw in the end, and I think we've got to sort of have those conversations about Zetterstrom because I believe he's a very, very important player for us, and I think it's really important that we keep him within the building, or if we are to let him go, we get £6-7 million to complete that deal. But it's obviously something which we're going to have to wait and see how it progresses over the course of the next few weeks for Derby County to actually potentially bring in a new goalkeeper if he is to move on. Now, obviously, the final move, which is the most recent one, it is a move on the table for Sergi Canos, who is currently playing in La Liga for Valencia. He does also have an offer from Los Angeles FC of the MLS as well, and has reportedly already rejected an offer from Turkey for a move there as well, which is very, very interesting. Now, many of you will know Sergi Canos played for Brentford for about 250 times, scoring and assisting over 60 goals in his time there, which is obviously absolutely massive for a player of his calibre. And I think the versatility that he offers of being able to play on both wings is something that's massive for Derby County moving forward, because that is what Derby County need. They need players that can play on both sides. They need players who can cause that impact for me. And I think he's certainly a player that can do that. And I know it didn't necessarily go to plan for him at Olympiacos, obviously at Valencia, with offers being on the table, is certainly doing something right. But is it a move that will end up happening for Derby County? That's something which we're going to have to wait and see. Now, obviously, the most important moves out of these is obviously the signings of Max Johnston and Lewis Travis. Obviously, those deals are edging closer to being completed, and I'm hoping that as you're watching this video on Monday, I'm hoping that those deals will be done today. Obviously, it gives us something to talk about this evening as well, if those deals do get done, but it will be interesting to see what does happen. Obviously, there is that disappointment around Koki Saito, but if I'm completely honest, I think Sergi Canos has a bigger pedigree in the Championship and has proved himself more at this level, especially being a part of that Brentford team, which ended up getting promoted. And obviously, hopefully, we can keep hold of Jacob Widell Zetterstrom as well. Now, obviously, you can let me know your thoughts on all of this down in the comments. But if you have not done so already, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and turn on that notification bell. Check out NordVPN down in the description for your VPNs. Check out Kitbag for all your sporting goods and CD keys for all of your gaming goods. By using those links in the description, it really helps the channel, gives us an opportunity to provide you with some goods while also supporting here on the channel. So you can let me know your thoughts down in the description, in the comments, and I'll catch you in the next one.